Hi there, it's Simone, and you're watching a Junk Journal with Me episode. I have, several months ago actually, I have sat down and tried to get as much as I can into this notebook, and I haven't touched it since then. Ugh. There's 3 pages left, and I tell you, every time I do a voiceover for one of those tiny, tiny bits videos, that I still haven't touched it since. I have actually taken it out of my A5 zip folio. That's where I kept it, and decided I will put it aside for now and not keep it somewhere where I feel guilty about not using it, which is totally fine. If I feel the need to go back to that journal, then I will, and I'm probably going to have such a blast when I finish those 3 last pages. Every time I make a voiceover, I'm like, that shouldn't even be that hard, but for some reason, it is. I'm documenting in this part of this Junk Journal with Me session. I am documenting a purchase that I made with Desk Gems. I purchased that stamp set. It's a house, and I cannot unfortunately read what it says on the writing. It's a house, and on my Ko-fi that month, the theme was houses, and so I thought I would love to stamp that and create a piece of art that I can share with my Ko-fi members. Talking about Ko-fi, let me tell you that I currently really struggle with that. I have 2 membership tiers. Actually, I have 3. One which is just a supporter only, people who cheer me on and support me in my creative art making process. Then I have a virtual companion, and then I also have a Happy Mail companion tier. I originally started those to have accountability partners that would cheer me on in the art making process, and that I would share printables or digital files of my art that I made. What I didn't really take into account was the fact that some of the things that are, or creative things that I make, are not really scannable, and there is no digital file for those. So I recently made some folders for traveler's notebooks, and I did scan the outside that I decorated with acrylic paints, but it's not a physical thing that I can share with my members. And so I'm currently really struggling to not have to work more. I also haven't really found, I have learned a lot in Procreate. That was the reason why I wanted to use the virtual tier, where I would send printables, because that would encourage me to use Procreate more and more, and I can totally edit scanned art and make it more appealing, and edit that in Procreate. But what I haven't mastered is actually making art, drawing and painting in Procreate. And yeah, so that kind of like, there's so many things that I want to do, that I want to learn, but there's only so little time. I would really love to do this full time, but of course, neither YouTube, which I also don't really want to give up, because I feel like I'm currently on this small upward trend. My subscriber count has been growing, and the feedback that I have gotten from my videos has increased. The the views, the comments, also the revenue has increased. And so I'm really, do I stop YouTube or do I stop Ko-fi? Do I continue both? How do I fit all the other things that I want to make in there? It feels like I have to make a decision. Something has to give in order to be able to do that, to do each one of them properly. Because, of course, this is just like, if I would put this into priority, the first priority that I have is my part-time job that is out of the house, where I have a work schedule and where I earn money. And the money that I make there is definitely more per hour than the money that I make through Ko-fi and or YouTube. So it's definitely not feasible to say, oh, well, I'm just going to quit my job and do this full time. But it is also not full time, because the other 75% of my life are taken up by being the caretaker of my kids. I mean, they are teenagers now, but there's still a lot of things that need to be managed. And I think that that is sometimes something that totally gets forgotten. The carrying the workload of figuring out what we eat, of preparing the food. Preparing the food isn't really the biggest problem. It's more like, okay, what do we need to eat? What are they going to eat for lunch? How can we fit, make like which dinner? My husband is like, you take forever to make this meal plan. And I'm like, yeah, I do take forever, because during the time that I am supposed to make dinner, I'm also driving sometimes multiple children to different places. So I need to make sure that the dinner plans that I planned for those days are actually doable in that time that I am here and able to cook. I'm blessed with children who are very interested in learning, and two of the three, I can tell them, start dinner, here's the recipe, and they know what to do. But one of them doesn't. So if I'm stuck at home with the person who doesn't really do that, then I am responsible, completely solely responsible for making dinner. And when I'm driving, since none of my teenagers has their driver's license yet, and also we only have one car, so it doesn't, even if they have a driver's license, they can't drive themselves there, because then I need that car back to drive someone else somewhere else, which complicates life for sure. So that's where a lot of time is spent. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And all of the rest of the time that I have left, which is not a lot, is then I'm able to spend on Ko-fi and YouTube and my journals. Guess what? I'm also journaling, like here in this video. I really like how this spread actually came together. It took me a long time and a lot of shuffling things around, but I'm super glad I took that time. To be honest, this is the real-time footage, so it took me about 10 minutes. And yeah, I had that time that day, and I took that time that day, and I'm really glad I was able to get that documented and into my journal. What I would really love to hear from you is how you manage your time. Who is in your house responsible for all those parenting and managing the house tasks? Do you share it 50-50? How much time do you actually have for yourself? Today was the very first day that I was home alone, just for a teeny tiny bit, but it felt so good. And I got so much done, more than when my husband is at home and works from home, which is so weird because he's usually always in his office. But I would really, really love to chat about the workload and the workload distribution in your family. Let me know how that works for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you watching. See you soon. Bye.